Those are pretty loud. I feel like the videos like some silly comment, share, support the channel if you want to. Appreciate it. Thanks. The main topic of this video is going to be that fighting games are just fucking absolutely stale nowadays, but I'm going to talk about EVO and all that other kind of stuff as well. A lot of random shit, right? And actually, you know, to add to that last video I did about Akuma and Ryu and what the Street Fighter story should have been, I actually was thinking, I should have said, is Akuma technically not like a lab monster, like a training mode combo boar, whatever the fuck kids say nowadays? Because if you think about him, does Akuma even have any legitimate victories in the Street Fighter universe anymore? I actually don't know if he does either, because technically Goken just fell asleep. Like the Raging Demon is like a combo video move. It does, or like a fake, it's like a task. The Raging Demon isn't even a real move like in the lure of like Street Fighter. I was thinking about it. Like, because technically Goken just falls asleep. And he didn't kill Gen, so does Akuma even have any legitimate victories in the Street Fighter universe? Even I don't know that. But, you know, besides that, answering a bunch of random questions that I got asked. And I also want to talk about, you know, what I think they should have done for Marvel, because I got sort of asked about this. For EVO, whatever, again, Street Fighter 6 is just so stale to me. Slimer, you know what? Street Fighter 6 is terrible. It's so hard to get interested in it, like, whenever I watch it. And it's sad because I can still watch fucking, because Super Turbo was sort of, I don't know if it was official tournament at EVO, at this Japan EVO or not, but I can still watch Super Turbo, and the matches still feel more exciting, and the game feels better designed than this fucking Street Fighter 6. It's just, all the problems with Street Fighter 6 are still there. The game plays just how I said it would. It's just, it's terribly stale. And, you know, you see, what was it? It was in Tekken, and I think I mentioned this recently. Weren't there actually some Tekken players that even they themselves said that, oh, we don't even like Tekken 8, right? But we get paid to say that we like it, or, you know, whatever. And I feel like, isn't that all this fucking shilling stuff anyway, it feels like? Does anyone actually even enjoy these fucking video games anymore? Like, legitimately. Do you, like legitimately think these are all good games? You can't see the writing on the wall? Like, I understand. Okay, listen, I know I'm a creative motherfucker. Jack myself off a little bit. I know I'm smarter than the people watching this video. You know, I know I've predicted all these games and meta, you know, more so than anybody else. But a lot of this stuff is really fucking obvious, and it's fucking sad. It's just, Street Fighter 6 is just, I think fighting games in general are fucking, they're stale. And I would like to think that not everyone is just a complete idiot about video games, but I guess it just goes to show, you know, when money is involved, people are more concerned about lining their pockets than actually having a good game, right? I mean, look at fucking James Chen, that stupid bullshit we went over. Oh, you're one of the most important people ever in fighting games, but we're not allowed to talk about you on stream. Why? How does that hurt the community if I'm mentioned? Oh, we can't talk about, or that one, the Bandai Namco stream. I actually asked about that recently. I did. And I'm like, why the fuck is everyone talking about me in this stream? And then right when they start doing that, you say the stream is broken. And I guess I got some answer that like, oh, well, you know, they thought it might be controversial if we like mentioned you by name. What? Dragon Ball Fighter Z basically had no tech without me, and you were afraid to say my name would be controversial? Why? Because you have to admit that all these other fucking shilling people have done nothing in your community? That they have tried to promote some idea that I faked cancer and all this other weird shit? You know, it's just obviously disgusting behavior, you know, just as video games are sad, right? I mean, just the community, the product is sad. The product is stale, and the community is sad. But, you know, I guess you can see that more and more, at least for a game like Tekken, more and more people kind of openly, apparently, are admitting they don't like Tekken even. But what else are we going to do, I guess, right? And I can't really comment about Tekken myself because I'm not versed on the series, so I can't say why people like it, or I can't, like, you know, analyze the game for you. But, you know, I'm not wearing any pants too. I might be naked under here for the 3% female viewership and the random LGBT community that doesn't hate me. I have an OnlyFans, remember? You know, in Guilty Gear Strive, you know something I will say, and you feel it, well, you feel it when you watch Street Fighter 6 and Strive, is games feel very heavy when you watch them. it's kind of amazing that you think about a game like Super Turbo, like I watched some of the Super Turbo matches, and you think about how dangerous it is to say jump in Super Turbo. Let's say it's so dangerous to jump because DPs are so good, or whatever kind of like narrative you're saying. But Super Turbo, it still feels good to watch. It's really pretty incredible when you look at it. And then you watch games like Strive, and you watch, look at a game like Strive. You have all these, oh God, I don't even think they call it RCs anymore. What do they even call it? I don't think they call it RCs anymore in fucking Strive. Is it called RCs? I don't even know if they call it RCs, but you got it's like a purple RC. I don't know. I forget if they call it something different in the game now. But whatever the case, you have these different movement options. You have instant air dash. Street Fighter 6, you have fucking Slimer Rush and all this other kind of stuff. And yet, don't the characters feel heavy? I think I've actually made a video on this before, that there's almost like this sort of gravitational pull, like a forced gravitational pull, where the game almost forces you to play the game at a certain like level. Almost, it's like horizon level or something like that. Like the games feel very heavy when you watch them. Do you get what I'm saying? It's very strange. It's like, ugh, products are terrible. Jesus. And and people are afraid to actually admit that, I guess, who knows, maybe eventually more and more people will openly admit that, they don't think Street Fighter 6 is a good game. Good players, let's say, right? You know. But, if you don't actually say the problems with the game and you keep purchasing the game, these companies don't actually have a reason to change the product, because you're still buying their shit anyway, right? So it's kind of like, you got to put your money where your mouth is. If you don't like Street Fighter 6, if you don't like Tekken, why the fuck are you playing it? Do I play Street Fighter 6? No, because I don't fucking like it. Now, I barely play any games, you know what I mean? So I can't be bothered, and I got other shit to do, health stuff, and even if I wanted to, like I said, even when I was playing Final Fantasy, recently, I got to take breaks because my fingers don't work half the time, right? Even just playing an RPG is fatiguing for me. But, I still do have an interest in games, right? But, I mean, like I said, you got to put your money where your mouth is. I mean, these people that shill, I mean, they don't care about, I said that too in this Marvel video recently. I think a difference between me and other people in the video game community is, let's say we all have our own selfishness, right? We all have our own sort of insecurity, that look at me sort of attitude, right? But the difference between so many other people in the video game community that put something up is they only care about themselves. They don't actually care about the game itself. As you can see, we're still playing the game because we got to make money, or it's the only thing we have in our life. They don't actually care about the game being good, I don't think. Seemingly. They only care about money. They don't care about you being better, right? Again, I have my own insecurity. I'm an insecure person. I put out stuff. I like the fact that I've done more stuff than everyone else in this fucking fighting game community, tech-wise. I like putting out new stuff, but guess what? When I say, I'm like, I can openly admit if I don't know something. I don't talk about that I'm the master of this, blah, 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 if I haven't done it. If I don't have knowledge about something, I don't pretend that I know it. But even if we showed, like I said, that recent Marvel, you got dudes talking about they're the master, they know more than everyone else, and they know jack shit. Go to that Lord Knight situation. We showed that guy's a fucking idiot. Dude talking, that dude made multiple videos trying to change his argument, and he fucking plays the game. And he couldn't even keep up with me. It's just kind of like, bro. So, I mean, what I'm getting at there is, do people even care about the game? Do they care about you? They just care about money, it feels like. So it's just, whatever. I also got asked about Hunter vs. Hunter. I don't give a fuck about Hunter vs. Hunter. I never got into that series. Totally lost on me. Totally over my head. I guess some people were talking about that it steals animation from other games. Sort of that Power Rangers game. You could literally look at the Power Ranger game and you could see, as a video game connoisseur, so to speak, you could see, oh, that's an animation from that character. So, God, what else? Oh, again, Mark of the Wolves. Again, I think Mark of the Wolves looks more interesting than Street Fighter 6. You know, am I that horny about it? No, I'm actually more horny about the Dragon Ball Z game, which is ridiculous because who knows if it's even going to be even slightly competitive. But, you know, but again, Mark of the Wolves. I will say though, and I have seen other people say this too, I am a little bit fatigued on these overly long supers all the time. And, you know, Rock, I don't know, what does he do? He hits you in the air and then he grows angel wings and then he has to like stand like cool, like, mm, 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 like, okay, I get it. You know, I agree. I think I think cinematic supers are getting a little excessive, but I will say I do like the idea that you can only do the level threes in the top gauge, and it like rebuilds your meter. I think at least that's a different spin on it. You know what I mean? But whatever. I mean, I guess that's kind of cool. And I got asked about this, and this is a longer answer. What do I think about fucking these Marvel fucking Mugen games that people are making, or Marvel mods? Because I was making I made some Marvel videos recently. I don't give a fuck about them, dude. I mean, but you know what? It doesn't matter if I don't give a fuck about it, because if you enjoy it, you should play it. If you literally like, hey, guess what? If you literally enjoy it, play it, right? You know, I think it's cool if you like it. Personally, for me, it's not interesting because whenever I see these like, oh, Ultimate 3 mod, look at these characters we added. What did they do? Everything is just fucking god. Oh, look at the combo he can do. Look at the combo he can do. I don't give a fuck about combos. I only do combos because I can do them, right? How many times have I said that? I just do all these tech videos and everything like that because I can look at a game. Let's get some better snaps there. I can look at a game and tell how it's going to work. I'm a creative person in that aspect. But just that creativeness doesn't make me want to play a game. Just like I don't care about playing the Marvel games. I've never claimed to be good at the games. Just like I never claimed to be good at Dragon Ball Fighter Z, but I can see how the game is probably going to turn out. And I've been pretty goddamn correct all these years on every goddamn fucking game with all this tech. But again, I don't really, these Marvel fucking things like, oh, look at this Gambit's in it and this. It's like, oh, so what's different about the game? And the combos are so fucking, everything just combos. It's just a Mugen game to me. It's not interesting. They're not big brain to me. They're just boring, right? And I've said this so many times. One of the only new things you can do in a game is the system. And, you know, just having more combos isn't interesting. Just like I said, Street Fighter 6, I think having top and bottom system isn't a bad idea. It's potentially good, but it's implemented terribly in Street Fighter 6 because of EX moves are dumb. Supers are generally combo fodder, you know? Just characters are too homogenized, so they all use the system in the same way. You know, I don't mind the burnout stuff and the dizzy thing. I think that's interesting. Of course, that's like a new spin on games. But and I've always said like you know, for Marvel, speaking of Marvel and a new Street Fighter, speaking of games are stale, dude. I've said this many times before. I think what they should have done is because a system is one of the only new things you can do. You know, and speaking of, oh, you think there's ever going to be a new Marvel game? Blah, blah, blah. Well, apparently not. And I've said this many times. I think what they should have done is, just like they had Capcom Fighting Evolution, what it was called, and before that was Capcom All-Stars that was canceled. I think they should have made a Capcom mashup game that has the fucking Marvel system. That's what I think. You know, if there's never going to be a Marvel's Capcom 4, where the fuck it is, I am not of the opinion that there's not enough cool Capcom characters to actually make a verse-style game of just Capcom characters. I think you totally could do that. And that's what I think they should do to try to put out a new game, honestly. You know, not that, of course, you know, I've already said before how I would make my own Street Fighter, but, you know, that's probably never going to happen. You know, but you could, like I said, they're good ideas, but again, for that, if I was making a theoretical new verse game, I would just make a Capcom All-Star game. What do? Have every character that's ever been in any Marvel kind of game, whatever. So Tatsunoko versus Capcom, where the fuck that shit was. You know, please put in a new Mega Man X though, because Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite Mega Man X is so fucking goddamn lame. Get rid of him, redo him, and you know what? You can have so many characters, and I think you could do something like Gil could be a cool verse character. I don't like Gil. I think he's retarded, but he seems like a character you can make crazier. Or Urine. You know, you could put fucking Strider Hien in it. You could put Grandmaster to have a character that's flying around, shooting lightning bolts, all this kind of shit. Maybe put Jury in it or something. You know, a handful of characters. Or put in a couple characters from fucking, what's it called? The fucking Red Earth game. Put in the dinosaur. Have him have Juggernaut. He can tank hits or some shit like that. And, you know, for a couple of weird things, I've always said that I think you should put in the Xiaomu and Reiji character and Saya from Namco vs. Capcom. Now, I know they don't totally own all the rights to the characters, but maybe they could get them to throw them bone. Just like Capcom only owns half the rights to Strider. So anytime Strider's in a game, it says the Moto Kikaku or whoever the fuck it is that helped design him. You know, so put Saya and Renji in it. You could make them a cool character. You know, I'm just thinking about them off the top of my head. Maybe make something. They're a tag team character, and you're going to have to use your imagination here and know what the fuck I'm talking about. Maybe Reiji has a gun stance, like that Vanguard Princess girl or some shit like that. But he has to charge up the gun. He can only use so many bullets, right? And so to counterbalance that, you have to use some of the sword moves, right? Put those to different buttons. And so he has to have moves that can reload. And maybe you could do something weird like that, since just like in Namco vs. Capcom, and I think there's another game that they're in too. There's a couple of there, isn't there? Anyway, maybe when he calls the fucking Xiaomu as an assist, that gives you a chance, or whenever you call her up, he automatically reloads his gun so he can potentially go back into his gun stance. Whatever. I'm sure there's something fun you could do to put a new spin on a character, a tag team kind of character, in a verse-style game that has different stances. And since the game is so fast-paced, whatever, you need to be able to cover yourself by constantly reloading his gun. But that's what the Xiao moves do. And maybe those act like a Captain Commando almost kind of move. But whereas Captain Commando poses, Reiji reloads his gun or some shit like that. Put Saya in. Like I said, those characters are begging to be in a fucking real Street Fighter game, I feel like. You know, and the point is, there's definitely handfuls of characters from different Capcom games that you could put in. They could be crazy. Like, again, fucking Nero from fucking Devil May Cry. You know, there's a lot of weird characters from different Capcom media that I think you could put in a verse-style game. You know, so asking about, what do you think about a new Marvel? Look at these new Mugen games. You know what? As far as I understand, Marvel's Capcom 4 is never going to happen. And when I look at this shit like Marvel's Capcom 3, Ultimate Remake, whatever the fuck it is, I'm like, so what's new in the game? And they're like, well, it's, you know, we put this character and here's the combo. Everything combos. I'm like, okay, you lost me. I'm out. It just, for me, it's not interesting, right? I mean, if you're just, I don't know, dude. Whatever. Is that the only thing I got asked? Well, a few things I got asked. I just don't feel like making a video about all of it and keeping the channel active. But yeah, so EVO, what I thought about EVO 2024 Japan, I just thought, man, fighting games are so stale. I'm like, why is it more interesting watching Super Turbo than it is watching any of these new games? I'm like, that's pathetic. Anyway. Remember, if you like the videos, like, subscribe, comment, share, support the channel if you want. Appreciate it. Thanks. The end.